United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to take roll call. This is for the public fiscal year 2021-2022 budget hearing. Okay, roll call, please.
Abel.
Here.
England.
Here.
Velasco.
Here.
Bloom.
Here.
Kane. Here. Fleming.
Here.
Myers.
Here. There have been, as I put in my notes, as you look at the budget that's included within your packet, the state budget form as well as the other budget form, the Ed Fund is going to reflect the deficit of $50,000 this year. We had to hire some additional special education staff, and we had to make some additions to substitutes this year, as well as some additional contract obligations. The budget's still in good shape in terms of where we're at, but that is a change on that. The transportation reflects a deficit of $9,563. That involves the cost of transportation to a student to Jacksonville to the School of the Deaf. So those are recouped expenses that we can claim. Remember, special ed follows a year behind. So that will be on the claim this year for next year, as well as special education costs being attributed to this year. There were no other changes to the funds, and that's where we are with the budget in terms of that. You are not transferring any working cash or anything of that, so the working cash stays put.
All right. Following that, we're on to the public input portion of the budget hearing. Seeing none, we will conclude the public hearing. I need a motion to adjourn at 6:02 p.m., please. England, and a second, please.
Second.
Bloom. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. We are now going to call to order for the regularly scheduled meeting for this evening. May I have roll call, please?
Abel.
Here.
England.
Here.
Velasco.
Here.
Bloom.
Here.
Kane. Here. Fleming.
Here.
Myers.
Okay. We are on to the public input portion of the meeting. Seeing none, we will move on to the citizens agenda. And we have nothing on the citizens agenda, so we will move on to the consent agenda. I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to approve the consent agenda as follows. Approve the 2021-2022 early graduate request. Approve the regular meeting minutes of August 17, 2021. Approve the regular and closed session minutes from the special meeting on August 23rd, 2021. Approve the monthly bills and approve the treasurer's report. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
England, and a second, please. Okay. Is that you, Kane? Okay, and Dr. Burstall?
The early graduate letters are part of your packet, and those who may have met all of the obligations and that to graduate, so we're recommending that be approved. The bills reflect pretty much this time of the year. The capital projects had an increase due to finishing up the design phase towards the State Street elementary project. On the treasurer's report side, we picked up another tax distribution from Montgomery County, so we received 78% of our local revenue from Montgomery County. And then we did receive our first payment from Cook County. So, revenues are flowing, state revenues are flowing. The good news is that the ESSER 3 grant was approved. Mrs. Thompson submitted it, which is good that we have ESSER 3 off our plate, and then they did approve the $2 million for the projects. So that's good that we have that money that will be available as we move forward with the projects. That's it.
Roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
Aye.
Hires.
Moving on to new business. I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to adopt the budget for the fiscal year 2021-2022 as presented by Superintendent Dr. Greg Personnel, Chief Fiscal Officer for the Litchfield Community Unit School District number 12. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Is that what's up?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Dr. Personnel? You good? Okay, all right, roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Fleming.
Aye.
Hires.
Aye.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid packages number 3 and number 5, concrete and general trades to Litchfield Construction Company in the amount of $3,245,200. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
England, and a second, please.
Second.
Bloom. And will Pep Rally present anything back to us? Is that what I'm going to start? I just got the one part, all that, I can go first, yeah.
Ready to run through the recommendations? Okay. So earlier this month, we held the public bid opening for the remaining packages, bid group number 2 for the new elementary school project. We feel like we got good coverage. All the bids at the end of the day came within budget, which is great news. We do have a list of contracts that we'll be recommending for approval tonight. And I'll run through those. As Julie said already, bid package number 3 and number 5 was a combo bid. It was the best value bid between those packages being reviewed individually based on this, or compared to this combo bid. Litchfield Construction, $3,245,200. Bid package number 4, masonry, Tunyas Brick Contracting, in the amount of $227,775. Bid package number 6, roofing and sheet metal, Care Brothers West Roofing, in the amount of $375,900. Bid package number 7, aluminum storefronts and curtain walls, R&R Vision Glass, in the amount of $190,884. Bid package number 8, flooring for Flooring Systems Incorporated, $367,780. Bid package number 9, drywall, George Weiss Company, $548,752. Bid package number 10, painting, Morrissey Contracting Company, the amount of $98,000. Bid package number 11, fire suppression, Apex Fire Sprinkler Company, in the amount of $128,850. Bid package number 12, plumbing, Stoops Plumbing Incorporated, in the amount of $392,800. Bid package number 13, HVAC, Kane Mechanical Group, in the amount of $974,229. Bid package number 14, electrical, for Synergy Electric, in the amount of $959,959. And then the last package, bid package number 15, site work and utilities for Jelly Excavating and Construction, in the amount of $504,096. After the bids were all received, we took them back, we reviewed them, we set up bid interview calls with the low bidder and the second place bidder for each package, went through all the specific scope of work items that was included in their packages that they had to include in their bids. All of the contractors here that we're recommending had complete scope of work as far as we were concerned, and we did not see anything concerning as far as during our review with any of them. So that's why we're recommending that forward. So.
Any questions?
I've just got one comment. I took the time to review the bids, and, with every one that's here tonight, I found every one of them to be incomplete. There was different degrees of incomplete. A couple of them were simply some little bits of information that possibly wasn't included. Some of it was the lack of financial statements as required by the document, which I think is critically important. And some of it was the addendums that were required past the initial bid document were not included in the packet. So I, in good conscience, being elected taxpayers, I want to make sure that we're spending our money the best way that we can, and I just don't feel 100% confident that that these have been completely reviewed, and that I can trust that I'm not taking a risk on behalf of the taxpayers of the school district. So I'm going to be voting no on all these. Just simply, I'm all for the project, appreciate everybody's hard work, but the devil's in the details, and there's a lot of details missing. And when you ask for a financial statement and you don't get it, you can't analyze it. So we don't know the risk of these people's positions, and that can ultimately fall back on the district. So I'm very concerned about that, because I was going to ask you, things like performance bonds, general liability insurance, lien waivers. Is that something that you make sure that you have?
Yes, those are items that are obtained after award, after the board approval, and they receive their contract, then we receive those items from those contractors that have a contract with us.
Including the lien waivers?
Yeah, the lien waivers will come with the pay applications.
Okay. So they have to furnish all those before you actually write them a check?
Correct.
Okay. That's my concern. Thank you.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin. Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Fleming.
No.
Hires.
Present.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 4 masonry to, can you tell me how to say this thing? Tinius Britain Contracting, Inc. Thank you, in the amount of $227,775. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Anglin, and a second, please?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 6, roofing and sheet metal, to Kier Brothers West Roofing Incorporated, in the amount of $375,900. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Anglin, and a second, please?
Second.
Bloom. And roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 7, aluminum storefronts and curtain walls, to R&R Vision Glass LLC, in the amount of $190,884. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Anglin, and a second?
Second.
Bloom. And roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 8, flooring, to Flooring Systems Incorporated, in the amount of $367,780. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Anglin, and a second, please?
Second.
And roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
Yep, you're right. I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 9, drywall, to George Weiss Company in the amount of $548,752. May I have a motion, please? Okay, and a second?
Second.
And roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 10, painting, to Marissi Contracting Company Incorporated in the amount of $98,000. May I have a motion, please?
So.
England, and a second, please. And roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 11, fire suppression, to Apex Fire Sprinkler Company in the amount of $128,850. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
England, and a second, please. Kane, and roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 12, plumbing, to Stoops Plumbing Incorporated in the amount of $392,800. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
England, and a second, please.
Second.
Bloom. And roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 13, HVAC, to Kane Mechanical Group LLC in the amount of $974,229. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Kane, and a second, please.
Second.
England. And roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 14, electrical, to Synergy Electric Incorporated in the amount of $959,959. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
England, and a second, please. Kane, and roll call.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to award bid package number 15, site work and utilities, to Jelly Excavating and Construction in the amount of $504,000 and $504,096. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
England, and a second, please.
Second.
Bloom. And roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
No.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion to approve support of the Litchfield Community Unit School District number 12 in the City of Litchfield Safe Routes to School Program Grant Application. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
England, and a second, please.
Second.
Bloom. And is there anything on that after that person?
No, I provided that to you.
Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane. Fleming.
Aye.
Hires.
Aye.
I have a proposed motion to approve the district's risk management plan. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
England, and a second, please.
Second.
Bloom. Anything here, Dr. Bush, are you here to share?
No, we'll just be transferring money, out of capital with a 1 cent sales tax. Money was deposited, and, next year you'll have to pay it, but this year, you don't have to do that.
Very good. All right, roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
Anglin.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Fleming.
Aye.
Hires.
I have a proposed motion by the Board of Education to approve the transfer of $754,521.66 from Capital Project Fund 60 to the Debt Service Fund 30. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
England, and a second, please?
Second.
Kane? Anything here you care to share, person?
The only thing we have is we have a payment due October 1st, 2021, and then we have our second payment in April 1 of 22. And that, if you add those numbers up, that reflects the 754,512.66.
Roll call, please.
Abel.
Aye.
England.
Aye.
Valesco.
Aye.
Bloom.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Fleming.
Aye.
Hires.
Aye.
All right, we are on to the informational items on the agenda.
Yep. So on the enrollment, they indicated that we will be getting enrollment numbers to you. When you take a look at our total K-12 this year, from last year, we're down 45 students. But when you factor in our preschool increase this year, our numbers are much better. We have an increase of 23 preschool numbers. So, when you take a look at that, our total PK-12 is down 18 students, but we do have some students that are outplaced out of the district that are part of that, if you saw that in that situation. So ultimately, when you look at it, the other enrollments with homeschool kids value, you asked about that, we have about 11 children that elected to stay home homeschool this year. Parochial enrollments are stable. When it all balances out, we have X amount of kids. So, that's where we are this year in terms of the enrollment that we will be working on certifying. Mr. Witter did include his report. I think one of the things that has come up in terms of when we had homecoming last week, our crews did a great job with our buildings and our grounds. I mean, they really look sharp and, for homecoming. And they look sharp all the time. And they're doing an outstanding job. As he indicated, we did buy a driver's ed car, which he knew that was part of the bills. We needed to replace that. The driver's ed old car is going to stay with an automotive program so it can be used as a teaching tool for our kids with that situation. You'll also notice that if you drive by the baseball field, we're working on that scoreboard, that it costs more to fix it than buy a new one. When you figure the amount of money that we would have to put in there. We're straightening the poles, and Mr. Stewart has the baseball scoreboard on order so that we can get that fixed as well. Other than that, that's it for informational items.
All right, we are going to go on to the administrative report, sir.
Yes, I'll start with the high school, Mrs. Ellis.
Okay, well, like you said, we managed to have homecoming successfully. We were able to host all of the activities throughout the week. Student council, Mrs. Brummett, were really great about planning all of that. Student participation was really good. We had a great day on Friday. We had Kona Ice come and visit us. There was Wacky Olympics. And then Saturday evening, we did host the dance outdoors. The students seemed to really enjoy it. It was a little bit more work, but it was successful. And the kids came and they stayed, and a lot of them were very complimentary as they left. They were excited that we were able to have that. Our students also have been getting involved in the community. That we did an all-town Pep Rally at Party in the Park. So that was a lot of fun. The band was there. There are pictures on Facebook. So one of our goals is to try to push out more positive things that we're doing in the school out on the Facebook page. And so if you get a chance, check some of those pictures out. They are pretty hilarious. We played some games as well. And so the kids were good sports about that. As far as the staff goes, we've been kind of focusing on building student relationships. We just had a staff meeting. We did an activity called Know Me, Know My Name, in which they had to put check marks next to, we put all of the student names up all over this room, and they went and put check marks if they recognized their name, their face, if they knew a personal detail about them, if they knew their personal story, and then we're using that to kind of gauge those students who we haven't had as much communication with or as much contact with, and we're building plans around them. Hillary and Mrs. Kress are kind of rejuvenating the SAP team, which is the Student Assistance Program. So those students who are struggling, you know, we can get together as a small committee and make plans for them. We've started talking with lots of students. Hillary's focus is kind of on the freshmen, and I've been taking some of the students who have been out on quarantine, assessing where they are. So there's been a lot going on. And we've been keeping busy with that. But any questions for us?
I just have a comment. I heard some really good feedback from parents. Just extremely appreciative that you could all even have a homecoming event.
Yeah.
And beyond that, how great it was, and
Yeah.
how much the kids enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So thanks for all the efforts that
Sure.
went into making that special week for the kids.
Yeah.
They deserved it.
Good, good.
Mr. Haggard.
Things are going really well at Colton Russell. We're doing a lot of different things with the students. I'd like to give a shout out to our teachers, as they're the ones that are, you know, in the trenches and stuff like that, doing stuff every day and working hard, lesson planning and working with the students and making sure that they're getting everything they need. Balancing and juggling that with the students that are in front of them, also the students that are on remote as well. Custodians, nurses, and aides, everyone, they just, you know, it's truly a wonderful place to be in both of those buildings, to see what they're doing and what our staff are doing each and every day and how hard they're working. We are getting ready at both buildings for our first celebrations. We have both celebration coming next Wednesday, and the very first Thursday in October will be Russell Recognition. It's the awards assembly where we recognize kids for their achievements in math and reading, also with principals awards, different things that they've gone above and beyond to be working in the building. So things are going very well. Any questions for me?
Dr. Tapen is supervising tonight. We divide up supervision amongst the administrators so that the AD does get a little bit of break. So he is supervising this evening. Mr. Faber.
So the great part about running the camera is I don't have to be on it whenever I'm talking. So unfortunately we can't get the angle right. Things are going well at the elementary at Madison Park and at pre-K. Working through some things with kids, getting back into some routines. It's a little bit of a challenge for some of them, especially our youngest ones, but they're doing well. Beyond that, you'll start seeing our kids in the paper again for the Principal Recognition Awards. Took me a little time last year to figure it out. We're gonna hit the ground running a little sooner, get those positives out there for our students. Also trying to make sure that we're keeping up with the communication from a district perspective on the cases, vaccinations, positive things that are going on with the high school. Try to get the positive out there, not just the run-of-the-mill communications. Hopefully you'll see some more things from the elementary as well as we kick on. Beyond that, any questions for us? We do have we still have a wait list for pre-K. Have a few kids moving out, so we fill those with the kids that need to be there, and hopefully eventually they'll all get in. We'll see what happens. But
How big is the wait list right now?
I think we're at 12 maybe. Yeah, so not quite enough to justify a full classroom, and a lot of money's going to a lot of different things in the state. I don't know if that's going to be a priority just yet, but it may get there, and if we do, we'll always be looking for an opportunity to make that happen if it's appropriate. So otherwise we'll get them in at some point. Hopefully that tends to happen sometime soon as kids move in and move out.
All right, in your packet, I did give you the work that will be done on the Emerald site. It's a pretty good handout, pretty good brief information on that situation. And there's Q&As in there as well. The work, they've moved in most of their equipment. 06 got the bid. We did not bid that out. That was bid out by Ameren because Ameren is paying for the entire project from start to finish. That involves moving the soil out, digging it out, removing it. It's quite an operation that they have set up over there. If they do come across any water, they have a water treatment system there that will treat the water, and then they will take that out and dispose of it. There will be 10 trucks, that's our understanding. And then they will be moving, they have their pathway set up pretty much. This company knows what they're doing, and they'll get in and get out, and then they will put that, once they remove that, then they've got a site that they will get filled dirt back in, and then they will rock that to our specifications for our parking lot. So it'll all be brought up to grade. That's on Emeren. Emeren's paying for the whole setup. And the depths, as you saw, the different drill site, or the different sites with the different depths, as you move to that northwest corner, they are removing a lot of soil out of that area, and then they are putting up, as they approach, and there'll also be a barrier there, and all of the contaminated soil will be out, and then they take care of all the EPA permitting, all of that, and that's done through Ameren in 06. But they should be getting going. Depends upon the weather, with rain and those types of things, so they'll be moving along. But that's a good Q&A, a little bit of history about the site in there, as well as the questions and the answers.
Is this something that can go on the website for the public to see if there's questions to them?
We can do that. So I just share that with you, that they provided that information, that this is, actually, it was Eric, Pete, and I were there, and Ameren had their site, 06 had theirs, and then we also had the state oversight of this as well. So at the end of the day, we'll have a clean bill of health. I do want to stress that there has been no soil contamination south of St. John Street. It's all contained in that parking lot area. And that was monitored by test wells, and Ameren took care of that, ran the testing. So Ameren is we're confident that the job will get done, and it's not going to have any impact on construction for us once they get everything put in place. So that's just an FYI, on that side. I do want to also indicate that sometimes we feel like we're going frontwards and backwards. With the things that are happening that are out of our control. The Innovation Center, we are making progress. The project has been released to DCEO, so out of the capital budget, it was released to DCEO. So the funding is at DCEO, the project is there. And then we have to submit the paperwork, because it's just part of being part of the state and that type of thing. And we hope to have all of the paperwork ready to submit soon. And then once we submit that, then it goes through their review process. It's a rather thorough grant process. It's a grant coming from DCO. The money was appropriated in the capital bill, and it has to come. The money's at DCO, but in order for us to get it, we have to go through. It's like any other grant. It's like Mrs. Thompson working through the ESSER grant. We got to match and deal with all of this. So we're hoping to have everything finalized and submitted, right around that November period. It's taking a while to get what we need, and then it's our understanding once we apply for application, we'll receive half of it, which is $4.3 million up front, and that gets us through the design phase and gets us ready to go. And then once we get the construction underway, we turn in this money that is spent, we get checks back on the money that we spent. So, you know, we're making progress on it. And then, of course, depending upon the construction schedule and materials. As we know, steel is March, we hope. There's no guarantee to that. And then this work, you know, there's no guarantee when we will get started on this innovation center either, due to material availability. So, you know, the intent would be, as we develop the construction timeline, that we would like to see, but there's no guarantee that we'll be in that come January 1 of next year. And a lot of that depends upon bidders, depends upon what that situation is. So we're looking at an 8 million or an 8-month construction process on that. So, you know, the good thing is that the money's there, and now we just have to go through the paperwork to get the money. Lastly, in my report, I will say that as we look at where we are, you know, to be in September. September is a very critical month to the educational process. When you look at it, there's only one day off in the month of September, and that's Labor Day. September is a very critical month to provide education to our children. We felt very fortunate that we've been able to maintain and keep kids in school. As I indicated to you in my update, Carlinville is on a pause this week for the middle school. That is due to the number of positive cases plus building metrics. And the metrics that you look at when it comes time to shut down for a period of time is how many students do you have out? Because when we have a large portion of our students out, that puts a tremendous load on our teaching staff because we're going 5 days a week, full days. And to teach remote and then have a large number of your students out on remote, that's just not doable. And they took a pause this week. And I think that those things, we've had discussions with our staff, with academic advisory and our administration. I think the situation in Carlinville did send a message that this is not going away, and that we have to prepare ourselves and be prepared, right? So the good thing is that Dr. Shipman was just able to close the middle school, and it didn't have any impact on preschool or the elementaries or high school, right? So those are the types of metrics that you look at. And you say, well, what's the percentage? About 20% of your kids. Then you got to take a look at it. Because that's an awful lot of kids.
And when you say a pause, they
paused for 5 days. Everybody went remote for 5 days. Yep. And that way it's just not a class or a bunch of kids, they just went remote.
Yes.
For 5 days. And that also gives a period to get kids back, okay? And then you can just start up again. So, you know, when you look at the metrics, those are things that that you have to deal with, and you work with the health department on that too, so that there's a conjunction. So their health department agreed that that was the right decision. So if something like that happens here, then there would be consultation with the Montgomery Health Department, right? Because you work in conjunction with each other to make that happen. I was asked how many, just somebody randomly in public, to date, we've administered 408 line action out tests and 100 staff tests. It's a lot of tests. You know what? It's worked. It's paid off. We've kept kids in school. And that is a big thing, right? Especially in September. You get to October, you've got some days off for parent-teacher conferences, you've got Institute Day, you've got the holiday there, then you get to November, and you've got Thanksgiving and Veterans Day, and then ultimately, when you get to December, You got 13 days of school in December, so you gotta make it in September. These are the critical months that we have to have kids in front of us. Our numbers today, as I reflected our numbers, and I don't wanna, jinx myself, but, our numbers are as good as they've been, where we have 9 positives out. We have 22 that are out because of close contact, and 12 of them are coming back Friday. So potentially at the end of the week, if it goes right, we'll have 10 kids out of close contacts. That's not the kids that are out because of sickness. And we do have a lot of head stuff, allergies, stomach flu, believe it or not, it's kicking its way around, those types of things. And Mrs. Thompson and I, we have 1 student in the test to stay. 1. And then that young man will be cleared Thursday. So all in all, we're keeping kids in school so that they have the opportunity to learn, and then have the opportunity to do athletics, have the opportunity to, we've had homecoming. We've been fortunate that we were able to get through that. I think when you realistically look at it, you're concerned, we were concerned coming off of Labor Day and homecoming, right? But I think the staff did an outstanding job with homecoming, the way it was orchestrated. I think there'd be one thing, we probably wouldn't go play volleyball that night after the kids had been outside. I think volleyball coach would agree with that. But the kids had fun, and I think ultimately that's, what it is. So I just want to reflect on that's where we are in terms of that. And I do want to thank the nurses and Mrs. Thompson for her efforts. That when we do this, it takes a team in the morning. We do now have our principals trained to administer tests if needed, only in an emergency type of situation. If we have kids where, as you know, one of our nurses is on leave right now, so we're down to 2 nurses. And so we're working through the system and we're doing the best we can with what we have. And our teachers are teaching and providing the educational opportunities for our kids. So, that's enough said on that, but I do want to say that, that's where we are, and that's what we're doing right now. So, if you see people, from the food service staff has been doing an outstanding job this year. Changing management has really paid off down there. We have a number of kids eating now. Meals are on time, meals are warm. We're not having issues. I'll tell you, they've been proactive. There is a supply shortage out there, and I'll give you an example. Mrs. Thompson and I are getting to know their inventory as we test, but they weren't supposed to get an order of what do you call it? Trays. And lo and behold, the one showed up. Well, we took them. Okay, and I mean, this is what, and then when we order supplies and those types of things, that we've had to reach out to different providers to provide or get our food than what they're not used to. And we're collectively working because they have one county contract, they have an Nokomis contract, so they went out and the 3 districts are working together with an independent food outsource. There has been some discussion of milk. The milk cartons, they gotta be made. And we've heard that there could possibly be a labor shortage in producing milk cartons. Well, guess what we're gonna be drinking milk out of? Plastic. Like the applesauce cups, potentially. So we've been kind of alerted to that they can get those, but they can't, maybe not get. So as you can see, this whole thing is having a major impact on everything. You wouldn't think a milk carton would be a problem, but you gotta make the milk carton in order to fill the milk carton. So those are types of things, but our food service company has been good about providing the information, the menu changes to our administration. You know, if they don't have it, they can't make it. And they've been getting things that maybe they can't, you know, get, and they're just adapting as they go. Food service is working at its fullest. Our custodial staff is working hard. You know, it's just everybody's just pulling in the directions that they have to do, you know, to keep our kids in school. So that's it. Mrs. Thompson, do you want to finish up anything that's cooking in your world?
Oh, absolutely, I can. I was gonna say, we are doing, you know, the math curriculum, like all new things, has a little, you know, some growing pains with it. But we will spend all day on October 8th, our County Institute Day, going over the math program and the intervention program. So I've watched it being used in classrooms, and you know, again, there's some tech issues that go on with it, but I think overall, I think the teachers are getting the hang of it. The kids seem to be interacting with it. So, you know, all things good for right now. The main thing that I wanted to mention, so something that we are doing, we did at high school, and Mrs. Wagner last night had actually talked about doing this 2019?
Yep, sounds right.
It's been a while ago, but we had to put it on hold with COVID, but it's the state seal of biliteracy. So kids can get a seal issued by the state, and for us, we will offer it in Spanish. So if they take 4 years of Spanish with us, in Spanish 4, they will take a test called the Apple test, and it will assess them in writing, reading, listening, and speaking. And so they'll take a test over 3 days, and at the end of it, if they get a certain score, they will get the state seal of biliteracy. If they get a slightly lower score, they will get the state commendation for biliteracy. I talked to our new Spanish teacher, who she came to me and said, this is something I want to do. And I said, that's great, because this is something I want to do. She has 7 kids in her class, and she feels that all 7 will get one seal or the other. She feels that all are probably competent enough to do it, and have strong enough Spanish skills. So we have to apply for an application. We've done that. So we'll assess probably March, April, and they'll have it in time for graduation. And at graduation, I've already talked to Ms. Ellis. She's going to do a shout out for those kids that actually earn the seal. It goes on their diploma, and it also goes on their transcripts. So one of the perks to this is that some colleges, not all of them, some will give college credit for earning the state seal. So, and then there's a list of benefits in the college world and the career world on the other back side of it. So just very excited to give this opportunity to our students. So we've also talked, Mrs. Kress and I have also talked to you about some of our students who come in maybe already knowing a different language, so we can make some accommodations for that too, but primarily it's going to be in Spanish, because that's what we offer, so.
Do you think that you'd want to bring on any other languages?
Well, Mrs. Goforth actually does have a French background as well. I don't know if we will be able to offer as in-depth, but if a student transfers in with something, we could probably assess that and issue the seal on that too. Again, foreign language, or I should say foreign exchange student or something that would come over, could actually get it in English then. So, yeah. So it's wide open. Again, we'll focus on Spanish, but yeah, if somebody comes in with something else, we can definitely give them that opportunity.
Is there a cost to the students?
So there's a cost. We are not passing that cost on to the students right now. So the fee is pretty minimal. Mrs. Ellis and I have talked about ways that we could probably fund it for 7 kids. If we end up having more kids that want to do it, that's a great problem to have, and we will tackle that with a budget later.
Yes.
So it's fairly nominal.
So is this something that you will start educating the freshmen on so that they know it's something?
So it is all part of, it will be in their, I guess, their course planning handbook and that sort of thing. But she's already presented it to her Spanish 4 kids, and they are excited, to have this, and so we'll do it this year. Yeah, we're doing it this year, and then every year we just have to apply, so.
Great.
Yeah. And I have to do an hour-long training, but that's okay. So, other questions? We're pretty excited about this. We got this going a lot faster than what we thought we would, with getting a new Spanish teacher. We just decided last time, we were, this would be great to do it, and then Mrs. Goforth came in and she said, I'd love to do this. Great, it was already in the works, and so happy that she's willing to just jump in and do it too, so.
Good deal.
Yep.
That's a great
Good for our
idea.
kids.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are ready to enter into closed session then. The Board of Education needs to enter into closed session for the following: the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity. May I have a motion, please? England, and a second, please? Kane, and we are entering a closed session at 6:51 PM. And roll call, please.